Hello and welcome to this episode of 4D Tweaker, where we look at the game that we run and we do our struggle session. So today I'm joined with by Phil the Trill, or Phil
Hello,
the Vile. I got Phil the Ville
Phil
and
Ville.
Crispy, and from channel Table Runner, and Rick from channel 28mm RPG. Eli couldn't join us tonight, unfortunately, but we're gonna go look back at the game that I run 2 weeks ago of The Witch of Dunkenvale. So welcome, guys. You have anything you want to say before we start?
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Actually, well, I guess I do have one thing, Max. I think that because I had a chance to watch this again, I do think this was an excellent session. I really liked it. I thought it was great. I liked the other characters. My favorite character was Phil's character because he was absolutely antagonistic towards my character the whole time, and I thought it was wonderful. I think that may be one of the key takeaways here is that you watch a game like this and you can see PvP done well, and we did have some PvP, and I thought it went well.
I love it. Even when it wasn't combat, there was so much opposition, so much tension.
Lots of
the whole
tension.
session was in PvP. Oh, I just want to answer the question Shoner say, like, we did the music. That's Ben from my hometown called Les Jaguars from the 60s. So the Jaguar.
Nice.
It's an old star band from my
Nice.
from my old hometown.
I wanted to say I highly recommend, if you get the opportunity, to play the big bad evil guy in a role-playing game sometime as a player. So that's a good time.
That was great. It was
Well,
really
that worked
good.
well in a one shot, I think. And like maybe I can talk a bit about the setup that I gave you guys. Like, I sent you a document where I explained, like, the whole thing was like 164 line, right? And I explain the rules we're gonna use, and I give you this setup, right? You're going for your party that is sent on a mission to investigate a possible witch, but because of tension, I explained that in the start of the game. Because of tension, like, so anyway, like the what I want to say is that PvP was baked in kind of this session. I knew it was a one shot, and I wanted to see a bit something different. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give them like some conflicting goals and views and stuff like that in the character.
Actually,
And also,
I'd like to drill on that. I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I'd like to drill on that a little bit because adding 4D to a PvP scenario really kind of makes stuff weird. Because, like, I'm trying to prove, like, this is a mystery game, right?
Yeah.
And it's different from the one we do
You made it a mystery game.
because we have opposite goals. And so, like, if you're 4Ding, like, evidence, it's, like, kind of countering, you know what I'm saying, like, what I want to happen. And it was fine because, like, I'm going to plant the evidence anyways. But, like, it doesn't really matter what they're doing. But it becomes, like, a weird, what is the PvP here? Like, what is the game? Is the game my enjoyment of going up against Crispy? Or is it me experiencing Father Sisbin, you know, as he interacts with Crispy? You know what I'm saying? Like, PvP, there's a little bit of an element of I'm fighting a player. You know what I mean? Is there an element? I don't know. Should there be? I don't know.
Well, that's why I always like I hate the term PvP in truth.
Yeah.
And I always say, because it should be character versus character, not player versus player. Because as player, we are working together to create like this cool moment, like, well, this interesting narrative. But the character can be opposed, and especially if we do a 4D thing, when you're gonna be like conjure thing out of thin air and like include like and create evidence and stuff like that, like, and you do something in the back of the other players, right? In the back of the other character, your character do something in the back of the other characters. The other player at the table know because they're still there around.
Yeah.
But they have to be like, you have to be a party to have a party that you can trust, right?
There are a couple parts where Lieutenant Luca gets these like perception rolls off on me, and then he like has 100% perfect information, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a correct thing or not. I guess we'll get into that, but at the same time, I'm like, whatever, who cares? It's the game, and that's what's really happening, because it kind of reminds me of like the Bill and Ted fight in the second Bill and Ted movie, where they're like, "I'm gonna go back in time and summon a cage that's gonna fall out." He's like, "Well, I have the key." I don't know.
Right.
Anyways,
Right.
Yeah. Nicolas Camargo said like, I'm
Enjoy
gonna
it.
use character versus character from now on. I didn't make a video
Good
at some
call.
point about that, yeah. But
Yeah,
because
good call.
because like PvP is a real problem. Like because if you have character versus character and then one player get upset, maybe his character die, come back with a new character that suddenly hate the other guy, right? It becomes a problem. And also like a form of PvP we often see. People trying to steal the spotlight, always try to one up another player. That's also, in a sense, PvP, which I hate. It ruins the game. They're supposed to be collaborative experience. Rick, anything to add?
No. Yeah, it worked out exactly how I thought it should, like for player versus player. I mean, that was awesome. The ending that was spectacular. The ending as well.
Yeah, the ending was fun.
but yeah, I had no problems. I thought maybe there could have been a little less meta gaming, in a sense. Like you don't notice it, but you can tell that there was a little bit going on. But
it's a weird line before
it was
4D
fine.
and metagaming. It's a weird line.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, I can see that. Like on the while we're playing, it didn't bother me. Like there's not a moment like maybe we're rewatching, I can see what you're talking about. But sometimes it feel like it, and like I said, like because we're doing it, like we're playing a game and we're making stuff on the spot, right? So sometimes like maybe when we're gonna go too far, it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a little bit. Should I
Yeah.
care about this because this story is badass? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I give a shit? Not really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
sometimes like
should
with
I give
inside,
a
I would have
shit?
done
I don't
something
know.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I propose you the game, I say like about like the big line with the character is gonna be. Like I said, I was gonna be the priest. There's gonna be like this secularist academician. There's gonna be like a captain, lieutenant. But then I left you basically like tell me who your character were, and then like just I give you a character sheet based on that, right? How do you feel about that? You feel like it helped make you more invested in your character?
Well, 100%. Yeah, there was one other thing you did though, Max, which is you sent us a series of questions and then we answered those questions. That's where the character started to click for me in those answers.
I agree. I was always going to be Father Sisman though. Like this was always. I was like, I'm the guy that plants the evidence. Like,
and what I like about that for myself as the game master is like I had an idea when I created this setup. I had an idea what this character would be, and pretty much all of you went in different direction than when I would have been if I just give you like pure made pre-gen, right?
Right.
And especially in a game with Pendragon where you have like all those like personality trait and virtue and passion that are part of the system. If I would give you like a pre-gen, you would have basically came with a personality baked in. So that's why I wanted to say like, no, tell me like this is the guy. This is your role in the party, but tell me who he is, right? Like by answering those questions. That yeah. So I got surprised as well. Like I didn't expect Phil to go that dirty, right?
Like you were surprised after I answered the questions that I would do so much.
I thought it was fucking cool. I thought it was like interesting, like that the fact that you I'm the priest, but I'm not a very faithful man. I don't like I'm not very religious. And Crispy going the other direction, saying like, I'm this academician, but I'm not against like I'm not an unbeliever, right? Just like, and I say, oh, that's an interesting dynamic. So
that was interesting. I know, yeah.
Yeah, and I started like the tempo there. I just like I don't have something specific there to point. I just want to ask you, when I did the intro and I exposed like we're 2 minutes 50 in, I guess was that like fast enough to get in the game?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yep. I don't even remember.
All right.
I don't think I don't think the intro was too long at all. It was just enough.
I just wanted to expose the setup a bit. I'm gonna play
my foot as I climb the stairs to the front door. After you, Father.
Father Sisman, as he steps inside the warmer home, he takes his cloak off and shakes it off to get the rain off, and hangs it up on a peg at the door, making a move towards the warmth of the fire.
I just wanted to play. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm getting confused. The house is definitely like one of the I just wanted to play a bit of that thing because like I wanted that. I think that was like that showed. I really like the 40ing thing there. And there's a lot of in the session. Like I think you guys did a very good job, all of you. But like this is like just like you get in like talking about like the anchoring with the mud in your boots that you shake off and stuff like that, right? And oh, I take off my clothes. I those little detail really like paint a scene, right? You just put some reality in the world.
What was
And I put it
what was
on
the
the
phrase?
tag on the door.
Crispy?
It's anchoring, yeah.
Anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was great. That was really, I'm glad you picked this spot, because when we talk about co-creating the world together, it's not necessarily the big grand things all the time. I mean, there's going to be some of that maybe if we're brave enough to go to take that step, but it's also just the hook on the wall, the nail sticking out to hang a wet cloak,
Yep.
which is what Phil did there. And that's great. And why is it great? Well, because it also reinforces a detail that Max gave us right at the beginning. It's been a miserable trip. We've had drizzling rain the whole time. You're wet. It's late. You're tired, and then Phil reinforces that by shaking off his wet cloak and moving in
And you-
towards the fire. It's perfect.
You as well with the boots, like shaking up the mud. Like even like those little detail, it conveys emotion because we can feel like the tiredness, right? We can feel like the weariness of the travel and those little things. And as a GM also, just letting you say, I just took my cloak and put it on the hook by the door. Like I don't have to describe that there's a hook on the door. What the setting is. It's a modest home. It's fair, but like it's always this thing that adding those little things add some texture to make the world feel alive, like make the world feel lived in.
Yeah.
So
Atmosphere.
It's atmosphere. Yeah, that's right. And it's interesting because it's also what we see a lot when people are like, oh yeah, role play. That's just when you do the talking thing. But no, it's also describing movement in the world, and the movement side is really important.
I'm struggling with that more than talking.
You see a lot of people that are against this kind of thing, with the, they don't like the game master wants to go ahead and convey every detail. But this way we get to fill in everything. How, I'm just going to put it out there straight to you, Max. Like, did you feel that you had things pulled out of your control, or did you have like I did, more of a sense of a relief? I don't have to think of all these details.
It's definitely a relief because like I don't have to do all the description. I give you enough. I give you the big line and stuff like that, and the little stuff you can add to it, and it's like add this texture and this richness to the world, and I love it. And also like even if when you come to that a bit later, maybe we're gonna jump to that. I want to point you can see
This
him.
one.
Hi, son. Are you?
Like I wanted to say acknowledge that I do say you can see quite a few times in the game, which we know we talk a lot about.
Even rewatching it the second time, I didn't. I think I noticed like 2. So
it doesn't more
how
than
many
that.
you noticed? Yeah,
Yeah,
you did a really
And-
good job, man.
I realized I think there's those little words because I'm making stuff on the fly, right? I'm buying myself an extra second to think. That's what's happening.
Silence is okay too. It's all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to fill it with
Well,
words.
when
all
you
the
have
time.
depending on the group, you cannot leave too much silence because somebody else is gonna
Well,
start talking.
yeah, when you're playing with me, you can't have a moment of silence because I will fill
start-
it with my turn
Just
again.
start describing the lighting, and then you'll have
Yeah, that's right. Just think lighting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I could have done a better job at that as well. Like drinking, but I was pretty nervous in that game. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
I don't even know if you played it, but I'm just believing.
The what?
Tell me, Gaetan. I'm curious. What exactly were the problems that this woman has caused?
She has been living with us her whole life. Her mother died recently, and since then she went a bit unhinged. And then what I wanted to talk about there, this is something I should have maybe think about beforehand because I got he asked like, "What is this woman did?" And I kind of drew a blank, right? I like to make stuff on the fly because for me that's a challenge when I GM, right? It's like it makes me feel like I'm playing the game. But maybe there is something I should think beforehand a bit, right? Like it's almost like this almost part of the setup of the game, right? What the woman did for the, but I wasn't even sure if there would be a witch at first. I was just like
So
playing by ear.
when you say she's a herbalist, can I then 4D? Oh, the king has declared herbalism to be witchcraft. So got him. Like, is that like a?
Yeah, you
Depends,
could have.
yeah, if you're doing
We're
that to
ready to
win
go,
the game,
guys.
then yeah, that's maybe it's bridge too far.
You could. No, I would have been okay with that. You know, like that's
Yeah.
you know.
It's not saying that the girl's a witch.
That's true. That's
So
true.
It's kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, would have been okay. Fair enough.
So I thought
would
Max,
not
you
have
did
thought
you
to do
did
that.
you did really good here. Like even though you did a little bit of a delay and stuff, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice a difference.
Well,
Yeah.
And I went in character, right? Like if it's a character trying to think of something, right? Almost. So sometimes it give you a pass a bit, but which is great when
Yeah.
it's your character asking a question to an NPC. Like you're not asking the question to the GM. Your character is asking a question to another character, an NPC in the world. So the delay can be justifiable in that sense.
Yeah, I was just going to say it felt organic to me. Like it felt that hesitation actually worked because there's some question whether or not, in my mind, there's some question whether or not this is just an overreaction anyway. So the fact that they didn't have this long laundry list of offenses by the girl, I was like, wow, I was kind of happy about that actually.
The other benefit is it's not like exposition; it's dialogue.
It's not exposition. It's
So
dialogue.
he's pulling it out of his mind. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
So it
right.
doesn't sound unnatural. When
It
you're
didn't
doing
sound
it.
unnatural. No.
It just sounds like he's doing it.
That's a great point. The exposition was actually, it wasn't exposition, it was dialogue.
You know,
And because I wanted to because I wanted to give like this uncertainty about like is she a witch, is she not a witch, and so like I wanted to give this uncertainty as long as even for myself,
yeah,
as long as
herbalism was a
possible,
great
right?
choice.
So
Good job. Good. Another
Little
great
squat-
job, Max.
can someone achieve maximum immersion without becoming emotionally attached to their character?
Maybe.
Wow.
Don't know. Good
I
question.
don't know, like
I don't want.
I don't know
to.
if it's emotionally attached.
I don't. I don't feel attached. I don't feel attached to my character at all.
Yeah,
No.
I guess that you have to define what you mean by emotionally attached.
Yeah, like for me, like I wouldn't say emotionally attached. I would
say
say emotionally aligned. I always say like you at some point you kind of feel what your character is feeling, like to a
Yeah.
lesser extent because we're not insane, right?
I would
Like
say
if your
connected,
character is
but
like
that
in a stressful
literally means attached.
yeah,
But you know, as Phil was fulfilling his skullduggery in the background and everything, I was like thinking, oh, that is so good. You know,
I did too.
You know,
I thought it was
we weren't thinking anything, you know, malevolent towards Phil at all.
I
It's
didn't do my job.
Oh, that is so cutting, you bastard. You know,
but I hated your
It wasn't-
character. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
it was like,
I thought
this
this
is so
guy's-
awesome.
Playing like he's standing on his head. He's doing great right
It
here
was,
now.
yeah, it was awesome.
These guys, jeez. I just
yeah.
wanna say,
Because like,
Max,
your character was the one that was kind of religious, but wasn't like strongly
Yeah,
aligned one
I
way or
was-
the other.
I was trying to be, you know, in between kind of
Mm-hmm.
idea. I had, I had my, misgivings, of course, through the hardened, tides of battle, and he has his, he believes, but he has his doubts, but he's still going through his throes of whether or not he truly believes or not. So
Yeah.
I try to play it very in between everybody,
Yeah, and you're the one that was like, because Luca had this gripe with the church as well, like because of his backstory and stuff like that, right? So he came in like kind of like, yeah, I'm following the captain, but I don't really like those church guy.
Yeah, Rick was my closest ally. Anyway.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of cool things that we all brought in, kind of like little background things about being in a war, stuff stuff that we've seen men's minds go all amok from being stricken by bullets and stuff like that. And it was just
you
stuff
talk about those. You talk about those traitor, like an execution, stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want to know more about that stuff.
So, it just added more interest that we could have twisted in a little bit more later on if we needed to. But, with the way the pace of the entire session went and everything, it just worked out awesome. I didn't have to add anymore, and I didn't feel like I needed to. It was all fairly natural. Everybody was fairly natural in their roles.
Yeah, I really liked how Rick did a lot.
Yeah, and it was very interesting to see like the character kind of like
flavor.
Yeah, kind of evolve and kind of like because he was like a little less aligned from the start, right? Go from let's see, yeah.
But that seeing the beast in the cave kind of shook him to like what on Earth. You'd never see anything like that. That would be totally unnatural for him. That was crazy.
There's just a little point here that I saw, and like when I did it, I regretted like immediately.
Falling for the stable boy.
There's no stable boy around like at this hour. Like it's pretty late and it's raining, so everybody like alone there in the.
So Max, I think it's entirely appropriate for you to decide if the room is empty or not. Like it's entirely. But what I would say, instead of saying how you did, perhaps next time you could say silence. Say the horses.
Nobody
neigh.
answer. Nobody's coming.
No one answers. Okay, then I know. That's fine. And so then I can say, well, it is late. Maybe there's nobody here. All right, well that's fine. I'm going to go outside. So I actually don't think this is cock blocking. I think that what you've done here is you've just reinforced that
Max wants you to
the
be
time
brutal,
of night.
So
it's late. So no, the kid's not going to be here. I was thinking, well, the kid's going to be here because they just took our horses. So like maybe I'll just go and see him. But it's fine.
The guys had to take care of their own horses. Like
they had to take care of their own horses. So it's totally fine. Yeah. Like I was assuming, there's going to be some kid here that's going to take care of muck the stalls or something like that, or brush the horses. But it's absolutely fine to say. It's just
I could have
silent.
done better, like you said. I could have been like, just. Yeah,
that's the way
maybe
to do
just
it.
in the language.
Well, you're learning. You're through going over this. You're learning new tricks that you can use later on.
And I got to say, that is the first time I had like a game session that I ran recorded. So it's the first time I got like the chance to rewatch myself, which is very.
That's a big revelation.
I can take a lot of like flaw that I have. I say like fucking every like twice per sentence.
Yeah. That game.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. This next one's going to be a problem for me.
Yes, that's something I want to talk about, like enforcing turn. That's something that, and I don't want to talk too much about it tonight because like that's basically what I want to talk about in the show tomorrow. And a lot of you, the same guys here, or all of you, come in. But yeah, enforcing turn.
I walk out into the modest house with my lantern, immediately looking at the shelves, any poultices or herbs or anything like that, and I'm looking to identify those. I'm looking specifically for things like spoiled rye, other things to produce a hallucinogenic response. Using that.
And Captain,
I walk in. I'm looking for any journals, anything written that may have their last thoughts that the mother may have expressed.
Keep playing this one. This is one of mine.
Captain stands forth, puts his hand across before Anders. Let's talk a little bit, boy.
Father.
Sisbin walks into the middle of the living room and looks around, seeing a sloppy home, and makes his way towards the back, where he suspects the bedrooms are.
The home is definitely. So yeah, what I was trying to do, it was like Crispy took his turn, and then I wanted to go around. I wanted to stick with the round robin as much as possible, right? Before like describing like the result of also give you a chance to roll and stuff like that before going to the result of it worked sometime, not always. At some point in the fight, we see later on, like it become like very chaotic.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is definitely something that we need to figure out, and that's why I want to have like the stream tomorrow when we like specifically talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you should tune in. Any thought on that?
I have something else from this particular one, but Phil had something from this. You want to say?
Well, I have my own. This is a timestamp for me, so let's discuss the turn thing first.
Yeah, I actually think that just saying the character name is fine. Like that's okay.
Very
There's
effective.
nothing wrong with that. It's effective.
I think it's a little bit of training wheels for us, and I think we kind of need it a little bit. And
I think if we had played like 3 or 4 sessions together with the same characters, then it's going to start to have an organic feel to it. But until that happens, just saying the character name is fine.
Yeah, I mean, give us a chance to do it without it, and then if it's not working, you gotta take control. I don't think you wait to the end of the session to correct again.
No,
because we've done that 3
times.
No.
Yeah. A few times. Like this is like probably the first time I did it here, but then a few times I did it, especially because like sometimes, especially with like Crispy's character and Phil's character, right? There was a lot of like back and forth and stuff like that. But something like I wanted to give a chance to Eli and to Rick to act as well. Their character was in the scene, but if you keep going back and forth, at some point, like, you know what? Let's see what the other kind of do as well.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's really what's going on with those 2 guys is really interesting throughout the whole thing. Well, my thing was
go ahead.
If you want to keep playing it, because I want to hear your reaction.
All right.
So I just did my action.
Dark
I'm going back to the bedroom.
And it's evident that stuff had been gathered in a hurry. There's a sign of commotion around. You can see the trace in the dust of things missing. Captain.
Lad. So you.
So I say again, in this scene, I go back to the bedrooms. And I do it 2 times, and you never describe what's going on in the bedroom, like, ever to me. And in fact, at one point, you say, "Oh, the lady died in the bedroom," and I'm like, "Shouldn't I be there by now? Like, what's going on? Have I seen anything in this bedroom?"
Maybe I missed that. But also, like, I think also like I had a different vision.
Yeah.
Of the from in my mind, it seemed to have been like a much poorer, much smaller house than maybe what you guys saw, right?
Like a one-room house kind of thing.
That's what I was thinking. It was a one-room kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you said there was a bedroom.
No, I said she died in her bed, no?
And also I said I'm going back to the bedroom, so there should be a bedroom. If I 4D'd it.
Yeah, he's 4D'ing it.
Yeah. I might have missed it, Phil. I'm sorry.
Okay. I do see some switching between, and we all did this at one point. We switched between describing ourselves in 3rd person and 1st person. I think it's better to just stay in one, and my preference would be just to say I.
First person,
I do that with Luca too.
It just becomes a little too like, who is that again? Like, because we have all these. It's just so much easier. Well, Rick said I, so that means his character. Like I think it's a little better.
So wake up, Max. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry.
Bad. So you have been
somewhat
of a boyfriend of this girl when she was younger.
This is the point, Rick. like when I had said that Anders was leaving, and then there was this scene with Gaten like telling you like secret about Anders after he left, like, oh, something you should know about this guy, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you turn around, you talk to Anders again, and say like, he's gone. But
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah.
That happens.
and I just decided, well, okay, maybe he's not gone. Maybe he was just like, I don't know, a little further away or some shit, right? Because like I didn't want to go back again and say, well, it's not there. You know, just like
Yeah, I thought I was I thought I was outside with Anders all by myself with Anders. That's what I thought. Not like
maybe
in the
that's what it
house.
was.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it was since you decided to talk with Anders. Suddenly.
Yeah. Because I was like there. You know, that's why everybody was going into the house. I thought I put my arm in front and basically said, you know, hey, let's talk a little bit, lad. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, we're kind of on the porch. Maybe I should have said, you know, yeah, I go forth over towards the porch a little bit, lingering along, and nod over to Anders to come closer, kind of like we're going away from the door or something. That probably that could have helped, but I didn't do anything like that. My bad.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, that sometimes it's hard to keep track of like where everyone is and whatever. Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
it happens. Right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
because
we miss a detail
what
like this,
what happens is we're going through each person, and then it's like it you kind of lose track, right? That's what I find as a game master, is if I don't react right away, I'll lose track of that. So when I do the turn with somebody, it's like a complete turn and then to the next person. Only because
it's
of that.
Straight up, because if the thing is, if you react right away, you may take away the opportunity of somebody else to act in accord, or like in you know, like
yeah, everybody has to keep it to like basically one kind of thing, you know, one turn, one round, and then to the next person. So yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a comment there.
Yeah.
A couple things that can exasperate that problem is if there are too many NPCs in the scene. So if there's a lot of NPCs, then it becomes difficult for every player to understand, okay, who's there exactly and where am I in relation to them. But the other thing too, I was just going to mention on this, because this I think is going to be something that comes up again, wherein a player isn't entirely sure where an NPC is or where someone else is, and I think we have to the game master has to decide how strict are you going to be correcting things that are off, because while I noticed that Anders had, when we were playing this, I remember thinking, no, Anderson said he walked away, and now Rick's talking to him, but I also think that it could be more jarring to say, no, Anders is gone, like. So,
you're talking to a wall, Rick.
Who are you talking to? Like,
somebody's going to be jarred.
Someone's going to be jarred somewhere
that
along.
Would mean my arm went forwards to stop the kid, but
he was like Mr. Fantastic all of a sudden, and his arm stretched half a block over and grabbed him.
That's the only explanation.
But I do think you just have to kind of decide. Okay, there are going to be slight. But that's, in my mind, that's not just a theater of the mind thing. That's not a fault with theater of the mind, because I've played enough in battle grids that I know that questions still come up with battle grids. So it's, you just have to decide beforehand together, are we that concerned? If there's slight things like that, we're just going to brush over it, just keep things moving. Does it really matter if Anders is teleported back so he can talk to Rick's character? Probably not. Like you could just say, like, for maybe what a way to handle this, Max, would be just say, Anders hears you call after him, or Anders turns, having walked half a block away or half a house away, and starts walking back to you.
If I would have been better, I could have done that.
Then right, he was walking away, but now he's walking back, so it makes sense that he's talking to him. I don't know.
And the reason also, like, I bought too much NPC at this point, like, that was the reason when I went to send the Enders away, right? I didn't want to have like juggle two NPCs. Like
it's hard. I did that, and I don't like that. I won't do that again.
And I hate having to do like role play with myself when I have like if two NPCs come to talk to each other, right? So they try.
Yeah, that's
and,
cringe.
like,
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
yeah. But like I introduced Enders at some point because I say like, I had an idea. Okay, the Burgmeister is gonna come and stuff like that. But then I want to give you an option, somebody like a different vibe a bit. And I was expecting like, oh, they're gonna go pick one or the other as the guide, right?
mm-hmm.
But
too bad.
Too bad Phil's involved.
because the way thing evolved with Phil, that he gained the animosity of the party quite early on. I said I'm gonna allow the two guys to go with him because like it would have been easy for me to say like, oh, like I'm wake up and I'm sick, I cannot go with you, and there's gonna lead you whatever, or one way or the other, right? But because like there was a lot of like animosity against Sisben, I decided, you know what, maybe he's gonna need some backup from people on your side.
It was a good call. I liked it.
It's called henchman, Max.
Yeah.
It was a good call.
Yeah. And the way that the mechanics work, it helped Phil out too, because he was able to use his command on them.
It was so.
I put a note on that. Like, I wish I would have listened to Phil better at that point when he was commanding NPC.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like he should have like having more command on them like at that point, especially they were aligned with him and stuff like that. And I feel like I cheated a bit, like Sisben,
Don't ever cheat, right? Sisben.
Yeah,
never let you.
Can cheat everybody else. No, but I feel like I didn't give you like enough of your tools, right? Just like
there were a few times where I did the thing and there was no follow-up reaction from you, and I think that you're talking about the cave, and that's another one of those times.
Yeah,
for sure.
But now rewatching that, you did right, Phil.
But I maintain that you're the best GM I've ever had. So, just so we're clear.
Well, until last.
Sorry, well, yeah, Crispy.
Sorry,
Crispy.
That's fine. You
Max
didn't hurt
beat
my
you,
feelings.
actually.
It was my first kick. I'll get better.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you jerk.
That's part of it. Mother seemed to say she was a very caring young lady, just a bit troubled, but a good soul.
This part is about when Eli character, like Lieutenant Lucas, say like Eli just say like, oh, I found a just journal there, and start like reading through it and stuff like that, and that's something he foredid, right? It's just like I didn't talk about any journal. He didn't have to ask me if there was a journal, but like I said, okay, I'm gonna run with it. But obviously, I didn't have a journal plan because this moment is a bit cut off, so I'm not gonna play it all. We can just talk about it.
Yeah, it's just a journal that absolves her of everything.
I tried to do that. But...
Suddenly. Yeah,
it's like there's nothing in here that mentions anything even remotely.
You
bad.
noticed that? Yeah, that's right.
But he went with in that way, and then I told him, and then we flip, and then like there's a bunch of pages that have been like torn off, right?
That's true.
And that's also me like saying like I don't have anything for that. I don't like I'm trying to get away from this journal, but I think it's interesting. I don't want to say like, well, no, you didn't find a journal. Yeah. Okay, you did find a journal because you forwarded it, but there's page missing, and now like there's a mystery, and now like there's something we don't know, right? It's just like it doesn't push one way or the other.
Adds a complication. That's fine.
That was a really good job at swinging it back to the question mark. Is she a witch, by the way? By taking those pages
and then Crispy later on, like that's a few minutes later on, because like there's some stuff happening in the meantime, right? Did the thing with the carbon when you go you try to read the last page.
But you handled that perfectly. You just said, well, the only thing you can get up is I got to help my dad. Like, okay, that could be anything. That could certainly be that could work in Phil's favor. It could work in my favor. It's just ambiguous enough that I thought that was a great little detail to throw out there.
Yeah, that's something I just like threw out like out of nowhere, because like I didn't mention like at some point the dad like came about because like I said that her mother died, right? And then I kind of regretted it because I said it should have been her grandmother. She should have been raised by a grandmother, and then the grandmother died. The mother maybe died in childbirth, right? But like, and then at some point I kind of backpedaled, like, the mother, like, she had the child when she was quite old, and it was unexpected. So now I'm turning back to put some mystery in it, right? And the father is a stranger that would often disappear for a long time, right? I'm just trying basically like to make it less of a normal family.
Yeah.
make it a little more like something like suspicious or something going on, right? This old woman having exactly. This old woman having a child and stuff like that, right? With a man that is apparently younger that doesn't really like interact.
So that's
and now the father disappeared when the mother died, and I didn't know why at that point. I just didn't want him around for you to go ask question, right? But now with this journal thing, I say, oh, okay, I need to help my father. And then all of a sudden, like, I had that in the back of my mind, thinking like, okay, now what's the deal with that guy?
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's what I want to. It's like you're kind of backing into the main plot. It's so interesting because you like come up with some crap. It's like dad or something, and then all of this you have to like dig down into what the hell was I talking about, and eventually you find yourself to the climax of the whole plot. So it's so interesting to throw away, like pull something out of my ass moment. Generates your story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so cool.
That came to the climax, but that's, and you know, when I talk about like, you know, trying to do less preps, because like I enjoy those moments, right? I enjoy like you cut with me with my pants down, and now I have like to fucking figure out a way out of it, right? I just like have to come up with something.
And that's why 4D is so interesting, because the players do that too. They'll come up with some random bullshit. And you're like, okay, how do I dig down into this random bullshit to the end of my story? And it's so cool. That's what happened in my World game.
And for me, that's all big part of like the game aspect of the role-playing game, right? That's like people say like, oh, you're just role-playing, there's no game. Like this fucking back and forth when like, you know, you throw me a curveball and now I try to do something with it, right? Just like that's the game. That's where the game is, folks.
It's part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's that we were talking about the difference, the kind of asymmetry of the GM experience and the player experience. I wonder if that's kind of the game for the GM is, you know, picking up on all those little. It's almost like a GM hook. You know what I mean? It's like a hook for the GM. That's weird.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Yeah. I love 4D. I love 4D so much.
We love it. It's ours.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to, you know, I don't want to go to like back to something else because of that. Because you know, like especially like running the game in like 2D, like answering questions stuff like that. I wouldn't want to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. At that point, I thought like the oval scene went quite long, right? And I was trying to move you on, right? And but you were still in the sense you were. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I was going to say, so probably because of the double NPC, right? You think?
Well, I think there was a couple other things going on there. My impression is that we had two of the players outside of the hovel for most of it, and they were doing their thing. And then there was you and I in the hovel. And then on top of that, then
even the captain when came after talking with Enders, he went inside as well.
He went inside, and so then it was okay. So his turn and then while we were wrapping up, we finally were wrapping up, and then there were some night escapades by a certain character.
You were making salads at the herbalism table.
Yes, I was. I was tasting everything and giving myself
the night
poisoning.
Escapade, I don't consider as part of the scene at the oval being too long because that was a different scene, something else.
It was a different scene, yeah, that's true.
Very cool and very pivotal for the game as well. Yeah. What I'm talking about the scene at the oval is like the looking for clues. I was expecting you, like, you know, it makes sense for you to go see the oval and stuff like that, look for some stuff, like. But I was expecting that at some point, like, saying, you know what? Okay, we're just gonna go in the morning because that was also like what Gaetan was saying. You know what? We can go in the morning and stuff like that. You want to do something tonight? And at some point, still at that game, I wasn't sure. Like, I was thinking, like, at some point, like, oh, maybe the villagers are upset of those guys being there, and that has been expressed as well when you try to talk to an old woman with a stack of wood and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I said maybe if they go to bed, then the villager are gonna wake them up and try to torch them out or whatever, right? Something like that, right?
Nothing got done at the hovel, like almost nothing.
That's true.
We found out about the dad.
Yeah,
but that's it's weird. It was a really weird part of the story.
Well, nothing was done. Yes and no.
Okay.
Because there was still like some character building that was done with the interaction and stuff like that, right? Just like
you learn more about the daughter.
I did think it was a bit slow. And at some point, because you had to spend so much time like trying to look at the info about who's this girl is and stuff like that, then I cut the idea of like the village being angry, the villager like being the actual opponent, right?
Yeah.
Because they invested too much in knowing who this girl is, so they kind of have to meet her at that point. I was like committed, right? Otherwise, it'd been even more wasted. But yeah. At that point, maybe I could have been more proactive, like I tried to push you out at some point, but then like you were always like going back with something else, like. So maybe the pacing was a bit off there. That's what I found.
Wake up, Max. Jeez.
Yeah. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, stop.
But also, like I'm a staller, and when I'm a player, I do tend to stretch out scene as well. So
I wonder if that's good as a GM. I wonder if being a staller is good as a GM.
Yeah,
probably.
But like maybe like we often talk about cinematic play and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I love like Wes Anderson movie. That's what I think of when I think of cinematic, right?
Yep.
I don't think about Marvel shit, right? So maybe there's that as well. Like,
but
I like
you
those
want
movies,
reactive GM, right?
Yeah.
So I think it works good as a GM.
To what the player do. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna skip that just for time. Oh yeah, this thing. Yeah, when I went to now people are finally going to sleep, and I want to go to the morning, right? This time skip thing. I want to play it a bit because I almost screwed up Sysban again there, but we went back and did this thing, which I'm glad you stopped me, even though it was a bit okay. The bird are not chirping quite yet.
I got you.
Yeah. In the morning, bird chirp.
Sysban is
in the house.
Sysban doesn't want to go to sleep.
Bird chirp.
Switch between Sysban is
fast. In the morning, bird chirp. It's very quiet. You feel like after a long day of traveling, the night goes by fast. In the morning, bird chirp. You see, I did made a pause there, right? I said the night is quite quiet, and then I pause. And I went, in the morning, bird chirp. That was your in.
That's fine. Yeah. But I mean, you do like have pauses in your speech. Like you're a person that pauses.
He pauses. He says never. Stops.
So it's like I don't know. I was kind of waiting to correct you because I know what you're doing, and I'm just like.
I think with more familiarity, you would.
I don't think there's a way out of me just waiting for you to say, okay, this morning.
Well, you could have cut in right at that point. Like, it's not like a.
It would have been better too, for sure.
It wasn't a big deal, right? Because I just said, in the morning, bird chip, and then you say, Sysban doesn't want to go to sleep. I say, okay, thing, right?
Yeah, as far as rewinds go, like that's not a big rewind, and I think Phil and the rest of us, as we play more games with you, Max, and get used to your style, then we'll see. Oh, there's the pause, right? You just get now I jump in, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard when it's our first time with a game master to catch on all those cues.
I think those time skips are hard to do as well because, like, we want to move to a different scene to a different time, right? But I don't want to force the player to move, right? So that's what I was trying. That's exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to say, okay, you're in bed, the night is quiet, it's fresh, whatever I said, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm
trying to take my time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted you to interrupt if you wanted to, right? But
so are you wanting us to interrupt there and say I go to sleep? Like, is that better than you?
No, you had already said, you already had told me that you were, like, everybody told me like you were going to bed, right?
Except for Phil. Phil
was in bed. Phil was in bed as well.
Well, he was in his room. That's right, but he wanted to sneak out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I never said I go to bed.
No,
I was in the room. But it doesn't matter because it's totally makes sense that you would time skip there.
Yeah.
No,
It's just-
1 to
I-
1
I-
time
yeah.
says that you have to.
We're gonna come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it was an odd thing, but it worked out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that
And the
nobody
scene
really.
that came out after that was pretty cool too.
It was a
Very
great
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
It was
was
maybe
awesome.
my favorite scene.
So, I mean, we should watch. Are we going to watch this metagaming nonsense that's about to happen here?
Yes. You want to? Well, was it metagaming? We can talk
I don't
about it a
know,
bit.
was it?
I think it
Or
was
just
like
4D?
I think. Do I have it? Oh yeah. Okay. I can jump here. Yeah. Inside the house. Luca, you can
not in the
hear
house.
some, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Get down under it where the bedroom is.
Pause it real quick.
The corner of the house that has
So-
the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should have had a second opportunity to get some kind of stealth check, or
Yeah.
at least make Luca make some sort of alertness check. I mean, he's sleeping.
Oh, Luca did make an awareness check.
Oh, I never saw him make that check.
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
maybe you just weren't looking at the screen, but I saw him roll his dice, and
Probably.
I knew that what it was, and I would have told him to do that if he hadn't. But like I was about to tell him, like, roll awareness, but he did it, like, and that's what I told you to do, guys. The second stealth check,
Mhm.
I just rolled with the first. Like, I consider it was kind of the same scene, like, just like, because otherwise, like, at some point, I don't like people like rolling and rolling again the same time, like the multiple time, right? You just like,
Yeah.
well, you're going to be stealthy, you're not.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Slosh. Like I'm going the whole way.
Yeah,
It's a
especially, like,
muddy
road
ass
race.
road. Who
like that.
cares? There's no
Yeah,
way to be
in
stealthy on that road.
And it well, maybe also Sisben is getting too old, but
This is getting
in
too
the
old
end,
for
it also like it involved like it created like a fucking fun scene, no?
Yeah, that's why
Getting
it's like
caught
I don't
was
really care.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's kind of what we
Yeah.
were talking about before. Like,
If you look at
Um,
Eli's screen, I'm gonna play a
care
bit.
about
Look at
the
Eli's screen. You're gonna see he's rolling.
okay,
Get down under it so that I can see underneath the hollow floor.
Inside the house, Luca,
not-
you can
not
hear,
in the
hear
house.
some. I'm talking to Luca.
Yeah. Oh, he's
You
not
awaken during the night, like hearing some rustling. I think it was
around.
just before that you rolled.
I
Right?
grabbed my
Anyway,
flintlock pistol.
I remember
We gotta see
him
it.
rolling.
We gotta see it. Show
What?
me the evidence, Mr. Max.
All right. All right.
Arrow key, left arrow key, 5 seconds at a time.
Yeah. So I'm doing.
See if any of the lights are on at that time.
I think it's right
Hey,
after you roll for your stealth
Something dark is in your town. Gaetan. I don't know if you.
I'm at the
in,
house.
in the morning.
You
And
go
who
back.
knows
Then.
what,
I'll take a. I just want to take a. Yes, I just needed to go for a walk for a moment. Will you walk with me?
Sure, of course, Father, of course. We need to rest.
Maybe
Maybe it's gonna be hard. Just trip to the mine in the morning.
You
And
go
who
back.
knows
Then.
what,
I'll take
maybe
it
I
as
like
a
to-
wave.
Go back, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he did. I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but
I don't think so.
missed it in the skip. But like, also, yeah, something you have to know about like Luca's Eli's character, Luca. His
Mhm.
awareness was pretty high.
Yeah,
That was kind of like his
That's
thing.
his thing.
So
that's fair.
yeah, would have got you anyway.
He got me. My stealth was not high.
Your stealth was decent, no?
It's a 9.
Oh, that's about midway, right? Almost. Yeah. Like, yeah, I had this time, like, I have no clue what this band is doing right here. Like, when you're just like going like under the house and stuff like that, and like at that point, I
Yeah.
have no fucking idea what you're doing, and I'm just trying to play along and stuff like that.
So I rewatched
And
it,
then,
and you say you see a dark form. That's what you described to Luca, and then he says, "What are you throwing hearts under the house
Yeah,
for?"
okay.
Yeah,
No, he
I
said, he
watched
said, he
those.
said,
Like,
who's there?
what?
Yeah.
He said, who's there? Name yourself.
Yeah.
That's what he. And then you went, hello.
Hello, I'm old.
And it says, Father, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I know
But,
for 100% you were throwing something under there. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I guess he did.
Maybe that was a bit of metagamey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a little more than what it
And
was.
Crispy's
we were
like, why is the father under the house? He's
Yeah, I
like,
wake
"Just
up.
go
It's like, what is he doing?
Yeah, but like
That's fine.
I was,
We don't
I
have to
didn't know
call
like
people out on it. We can just move on.
this whole thing, Phil, you were doing like about like pulling like a little bag out of your kazakh or whatever, right? Just like in a bird art, and then you're showing that, and I have no idea what you're doing. With I don't like what are you trying to do there? Like it took me a second to
Yeah, look at the
understand.
shock
Like,
on Max's face in the pause.
I also
It
love how
took me a
Rick.
I'm just
while, like,
annoyed.
for me to
I
understand
see
that
what
you were,
Phil's
like,
doing. I'm annoyed. I'm like,
I
what is
also
he
love how
doing?
Rick, Rick instantly knew it was a chicken heart because of his bird background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bird enthusiastic.
He's a bird enthusiast.
See, it could have
like-
came in handy.
That was pretty cool. No, you were the only one that Max was like, "It's a chicken heart." I was like, "That's fun." I don't know if that was intentional, but on the rewatch, I thought that was badass.
No, well, I don't know. Like, chicken art would be easy to identify for people in those times.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Especially a
They're
bird
pretty good.
enthusiast.
yeah, you can eat them.
Crispy just nibbling on
chicken heart.
They stay
I'd
crunchy
taste
in
it.
milk.
Yeah, it's chicken heart.
Stop eating the demonic influence, please.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like I wasn't sure what you're doing. Like I didn't get, like, it took me a while to figure out that you were like planting evidence, right?
Yeah.
Just like I thought it was fucking cool, right?
Thanks, man.
That's the again like grade 40 shit there. Yeah.
I love it.
What, planting some seed that didn't take root? What was that? I don't know. He always seemed to be. He never seemed to be very much the religious type at all. Like that's kind of new thing. Like ever since like Diana died.
Yeah, that was new. Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck is that bird?
what's that dude's name? Gaitan?
Yeah, it was-
Thomas.
Yeah. That was the blacksmith, and he was saying, yes, the Burgermeister all of a sudden is a religious guy, right?
Oh, look at that. Eh? Nicolas Camargo. He said he had chicken heart today. Are you Brazilian, Nicolas? You're having like corazon? I love them. Sorry. Yeah, the Thomas about the Gaten being like newly religious and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you out, Crispy.
No,
I
no,
got,
no,
like,
that's
excited.
fine. Yeah,
with
that
food
was.
talk.
Yeah, we didn't really go. There were some seeds there we didn't really pick up on them, or I didn't.
No, it's not. No, well, that's. It was at that point. I had an idea, like when you're talking to Thomas and stuff like that.
Mhm.
What I was thinking there, like I'm doing this. I'm picking this point because I want to tell you where this game could have gone. Right. That's what I'm doing here as well in the tweaker, just to give you an idea what could have been.
Mhm.
Like with Thomas saying like, oh, this Gaten, I don't know what it was. At some point I was thinking, oh, maybe Gaten is not really after the witch, he's after the church, right? And he's
Oh,
working
okay.
with the witch. I was making this plan, right? I wanted to have like a twist. And remember at that point, I didn't know about the father that much, right? That was just like a thing I threw away there. Like I didn't have a plan from the father. I was still trying to find some kind of twist. And at some point I said like, you know what? Maybe Gaten is going to bring you up the mountain. And then he's going to fucking crisscross you, like double cross you. Because maybe like he fucking hate the church. And just like make this whole ploy. Like maybe the girl is a witch. Make this whole ploy to bring some inquisitor around so he can kill them, right? So I was like kind of like setting up some block for that, right?
Mhm.
But then at some point I said, you know what? Okay, now the game's going somewhere else. It's always about like reacting and stuff like that, right?
I kind of wish we looked at the part where everyone's kind of like running out of the house and coming to me, like at the house, like where Rick starts teleporting like between the house and the front of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at some point it wasn't clear if you're like if they brought you in the house.
Where I
or if
was unclear.
Yeah.
Like where,
Yeah.
but whatever.
You want to watch with that? Or you want
I
to?
don't know what you get out of it, so we may as well skip it.
Yeah.
Other than us berating ourselves.
Oh, I got something here that I want to say about
So should I roll
you,
something?
Phil. You do a roll here, and you roll that 3.
Yeah.
That was your personality roll,
Yeah.
and then you roll a stealth.
Yeah.
Father, are you?
Or was it stealth? Oh, it was.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I guess it was.
Oh,
This is
never
another-
mind. I thought your stealth was high. You said that your stealth was a 9. I thought your stealth was higher than that. Was like
No, it's
a
like my worst
15
skill.
or something. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Then there's there's no point there. You were. I thought like because of the personality role, you would have succeeded your stealth, but actually no, you wouldn't made a chance. Sorry, that was my mistake. I thought your stealth was higher than that.
But that was another moment where I was like, I was trying to not have to roll.
Yeah.
That's why
that was great way
because I was supposed to do it. I remembered I was supposed to do it for the scene, so that's why I'm rolling my personality check.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just everyone's walking ahead of me, so I'm just like looking around. No one's looking back. I'm like, okay, I'm pulling out the chalk. I'm gonna do the thing real quick. But
yeah.
Lucas like, what? Instantly, like looking at you.
He was on to you.
Like, what the?
Yeah.
So
but also,
I guess it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but
is that I mean, he's super attentive. I mean, that's his character.
And I guess also like he was keeping quite an eye on you because you were so shady and you've been shady all night before, right?
What?
And he was already like he was already like on trusty of a clergyman and stuff like that. True. So right, it couldn't make sense. And you kept fucking trying to stealth. And
being I really wanted to have stealth, but I did not have stealth.
Yeah, but they were all like fucking cool interaction. Like, oh, I'm going to try scribble stuff. Like, it make like suspense so interesting because he's like this piece of shit, right? He's trying to like do those like shady stuff. He's not very good at it, or maybe he used to be, but now he's too old, right? Just like I thought it was very interesting.
Not as spry as he used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's there?
No.
I'm just go back.
Someone living here. Also, I like how I established that I've done that vision lie a few times. Like at some point. Like I've had a few visions actually.
He's a visionary man.
Well, and I tried to play up like Gaetan, being very impressed by that, right? And just like, oh wow, we're so lucky to have such.
Yeah, it was fun.
But we all know you're full of shit.
Right around you. Yep.
Yeah. You see, like in the dust, there are like some place of like some trace of people like coming out and coming in and out, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been some action around here. Some noise of rapid movement comes from behind you, from the end.
I say, "Oh, look what I found! More chicken hearts."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just throwing little apple seeds around everywhere. Johnny Appleseed of chicken hearts.
Johnny Chicken Heart.
Yeah, at that point we're quite far in the game, and I'm trying to bring to a climax. So that's why I got it now. Like, and at that point I kind of got okay. Now I can use the fodder, right? I need to help fodder. What does it mean? Like, now I came up with something at that point, and I'm trying to push things forward.
Smart push.
And that's why, like I said, there's like running around, like there's trace in the dust of people like coming in and out, and there's like noise in the dark and stuff like that, right?
You were right to gloss over the chicken heart.
Well,
why are there all these dogs following you around everywhere, Father?
Yeah. Let's see, did they gloss around the chicken heart?
Turn
around.
I quickly turn.
You scream like that. That's it. You say like you go like, oh look, more chicken heart. Right as I was saying, like, oh, there's noise like coming from the back, like running, like scuttling around, coming from the back in where you come from. So yeah, of course, nobody like they all turn around toward the noise, right? They don't pay attention to you anymore.
You and your chicken hearts.
Chicken heart. Yeah. This
the chicken hearts. What were you going to do with them? What sort of curse did you have in mind?
This is too much. Too much for me. The flintlock comes out. I print it. I plant it in the father's chest. Back off.
This was a disaster.
This is an interesting.
There's like 3 people talking at the same time.
This is one of my tags too. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead then. Talk.
Okay. Eli, this part we talked about after the game, where it was like, where is the position of everyone? Because like and I think you're actually probably about to talk about this. I don't know if you're about to talk about something I did, but I grabbed the girl and then Lucas says he's going to get between me and the girl.
Yeah.
And then Elaine puts his pistol in my chest, and then I do something like this, trying to indicate that I'm letting go of the girl. But then, like, Elaine says, let go of the girl. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not letting go of the girl. And then so I feel like I'm still holding in. And then, but Luca thinks he's between me and the girl. So it's like really kind of a weird human centipede situation, I think, is what I would describe it as.
Yeah, there was some point of what I was
And then I
confused
throw
about
it down.
where people were. Yeah.
It's weird.
And sometimes when those confusion happen, like, how would you want to deal with that? Like, should we take a moment to just say, okay, let's reestablish where everybody else is, or we just like keep going, and it all gonna make sense over time,
That's a good
right?
point. That's a good idea.
Just really hammer out the anchoring
Just call out
statements.
location. Call out location.
Maybe that's something we can think about. Like, just like, let's reassess where everybody is, right? And just like we just do one quick round robin where just tell me where your character is and what he's doing, right? Just like no dialogue, no fucking this. Like, that's something I want to talk about. There's too much dialogue sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
Maybe you could say, let's anchor ourselves, and then if we know what anchor means, and we can
if we're cutting back on all the dialogue and making sure to anchor on our turn, or then I think.
But that's one thing I want to talk in the stream tomorrow as well, like about dialogue stuff, right? We all like doing dialogue and stuff. We like talking and stuff like that. But when we talk, that's why like I kind of wrap together like the initiative, the round stuff, and the pacings, because I think they'll link, and the tempo, right? Okay, we're in action. It should feel actiony. But if we do like 2 minutes of dialogue every time we take a turn, it doesn't, right? Yeah. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. But
good point.
But in that specific instance, like, and at some point, like, and I think like soon after I try to come back, like going, okay, I'm gonna call you again by name, by the name of the title of your character, right? Because like everybody was trying to talk in the same time, and Eli oftentimes like he had a hard time like taking his turn. I feel like because everybody else wanted to do something. Yeah. And it's also like this part where like rewatching the video, I saw at some point that I misunderstood what Rick was doing when he raised Ender's gun with the with his saber.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when you I got it when you because you have to repeat it. But at first, like when the first time you see it, I remember like I thought you were raising your saber and your musket somehow, right? And I'm just like, okay, he's trying to do like point with his sword and gun at the same time. But then saying, no, I'm raising his musket with my saber. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. But
Quiet fucking up. This scene though, I don't know if you were gonna mention it. There's a part in it where I say I'm going to, because I think my hands are still on this lady, and I say I'm going to push her into the pistol, and then nothing happens.
Nothing came
no
out.
Reaction. There's nothing. It just it fizzles.
I think somebody like started talking before I could react, or before like
it's probably me.
Yeah.
This specific scene, there was a lot of confusion because everybody was trying to do like something on top of somebody else, right? Just like
it was a confusing moment.
And this is really something we need to get better at. This is like the one kink we need to figure out, and that's the reason the stream tomorrow, right? We need to figure out like a way, try to think of get the pacing a little better and get this round thing a bit better, right? Where everybody can take their turn and we don't have like people like juggling turn between two people. Well, the two people are still in this.
Especially when it's gonna like you're creating a scene here, Max, that should feel frenetic. Like there's a lot happening. It's quick. It's tense. There's someone running behind us. There's sounds in front. There's all this stuff happening, and I feel that kind of frenetic, lots of energy, and so then I all of a sudden I want to jump in, but we have to remember the round robin or remember the initiative order or whatever we're calling it, and then just shorten all of our turns so that it can go quick all the way through. Anyway, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, And it's a problem that's compounded because if somebody do too much, then the next guy that get to do something, or if you have your turn has been
Yeah.
skipped for a while, and when it comes back to you finally, then you want to do a lot, right? Because well, my character has been doing nothing for all that time, so now like I'm doing this, and this, and then I'm saying that, right? Just so, and then like so you take a long turn, and the next guy take a long turn, and this turn inflation.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. It
Inflation.
just gets bigger and longer.
Yeah. So we lose this sense of like, nah, you get to do one thing.
Yep.
And
And
it's
I make
short
a,
thing.
I total time violation. I'm sure it's in here, but like I do like five things on my turn. It's like, okay.
The part
Way
where
too
we're
much.
walking into the cave is I would say the worst crispy part.
Yeah.
I got something about the
We want to
worst.
just make fun of crispy.
Yeah, I don't think that was the worst one. I think the worst one was when I crawl on the floor, grab the pistol, then do this, then shoot you. Then that was that was the worst one. I actually think that well,
we can talk about that because I remember seeing that, and I think that's exactly part of this turn inflation.
Too long turns taken too long.
It's the nerds this new term, turnflation.
I love turnflation.
Yeah,
it's part of this
it's true.
because,
It's true.
Like there's been a bunch of people that have been taking turns, some back and forth here and there, and then it come back to you, and it's been like maybe 30 seconds since Crispy got to say something, so now you want to say a lot.
I got to say another 30-second turn. I mean, hey.
30 seconds in, 30 seconds out. That's the rule.
Joking aside, right? Just like
yeah, I'm sorry, Crispy.
I think
No,
it's true. This turn, I remember like you did a few things, but like it had been a while, and I guess you felt like that was your one shot. You wanted to do this thing, it was your one shot. Because if you just did if you didn't do the time violation, who knows what would happen before it come back to you and then you miss your opportunity. Like,
Well,
you want to grab a gun and
yeah, it's part of the game. Yeah.
Like
that part also is
cheating through turns through dialogue. Yeah, I was totally was.
There's that whole part where I want to. It's like how it's my mess up where I should just say that I'm leaving the cave, but or that I leave the cave as opposed to I'm leaving the cave. I should say it because it took me I kept sliding along the wall for like 5 turns.
You were quite far in the cave. You were quite far in the cave, right? Just like
I don't know if I was, but I guess I was. I was in the back the whole time as we were walking in, and then I slide up against the wall when Crispy does, and then I'm like inching my way out of the cave from then on. So
I don't know. You were far from the entry. It's a mine. It's not a cave. You're deep.
Okay,
but yeah, this like, and if we can like build this trust and we can build this habit of us all shortening our turns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we won't have this fear of like, well, if I don't do like this 3 thing now that or 3 very short thing that should be done consecutively, right? But now I have to do them all 3 at once because who knows what who knows where like, oh, this band is gonna pass through me. I want to snipe in or cut his hamstring while he's doing so. If I just like pick up the blade, I won't have time. He's gonna be gone, right? Just saying.
Well, that's
we
initiative.
all want to cut Sisbin when he runs by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, something we have to exactly figure out, and that's why I want to have like a specific topic, like a specific talk about that tomorrow. About this whole.
May as well go right to that.
Chris is getting roasted today, man.
Let's go to Rick Fumble.
That's okay.
I want to talk about it a bit. Rick rolled a 20 when he was dragging somebody around, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I said like you fall prone, and then you felt like it wasn't quite enough penalty, right?
That's right. Yeah. I 4D'd some damage.
Yeah, you 4D'd some damage. But I got to say, you're lucky because like in this system, being prone is actually quite a big penalty because it's gonna take your next turn to get up. And if somebody attacks you while you're prone, they have like this huge fucking bonus. Nobody attacked you while you were, right? But it's the kind of situation like you fall on your ass during a fight, you're gonna fucking get killed basically on the next round, right? But it's cool. You decided, you know what? Maybe it was about bad fall. You wanted to add some challenge to you, which I think is cool, right? But that's why, like, I didn't give you more than that. I didn't give you damage because, like, I knew, and I know you never played the system before, but I knew, like, the impact of being prone. That it's not falling on your ass is not a small thing, and it's quite common because every time you take more damage than your size, right? You have to make a roll with you to see if you fall on your ass.
Gotcha.
Which did happen. A few people fell. But yeah, it's
I think Crispy 20's a
I do.
maneuver.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, to jump in front of the bullet.
Yep. All right, let's look at the Crispy doing something here.
Oh yeah, jeez. It's bad.
Pointing at the priest now, also out of the mine.
Well, in my defense, so now Phil is upset because I've moved his character, and to be fair, I kind of did.
Look at my upset face.
And look at him. Look at the screen. He's looking at the screen like, this son of a. I understand what's going through Phil's head here, but in my defense, Phil, you had been saying for the last 4 turns that you were running out of the cave, or you were moving out of the cave. And so when I say here that, okay, anyway, I made a mistake.
That was before I was shot in the back.
And then as penitence, is some kind of, what is penance? Penance for my sin, I lose consciousness. Now, I technically didn't yet lose consciousness, but I'm like, okay, you know what? I made a big boo-boo here. I moved another character. I'm unconscious.
You turn your camera off out of shit.
I turned my camera off. I'm like, oh man,
we're all self-flatulating ourselves.
I turned off my microphone so I could shout some expletives, and anyway.
Did you really realize that you did that? Like,
I did. As soon as I said it, I'm like, ooh, that's not how I wanted to say that.
No,
but I mean, that's why I said it though, Phil, is because you were clear that you were leaving the cave. And so then I'm like, okay, so as he leaves the cave, this is what I'm trying to do. So it wasn't as egregious as it sounds on the surface. It's still a mistake. I'm not trying to excuse that, but anyway, that's the background.
The only thing I would say is after you're like continually trying to murder me. Yes. So I'm probably not like walking right behind you.
No, you're probably not. Yeah.
Fucking like,
yeah.
Get to the edge or something.
So
I was trying to leave the cave.
What's that?
You could have said like, I take my pistol and take aim to shoot the father.
Yeah, with blurry eyes. I'm looking for the father. Where is he? Where is he? The murderer.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a mistake.
Phil?
What's that?
Were you upset?
Look at that face.
Yeah, he's mad. Look at him. That's his mad face.
I was pissed. Listen to what I say too. I'm not leaving the cave now, bitch. I stay. Like I'm about to say, I stay in the cave.
Actually, the entrance of the mine.
But you just said for the last 4 turns that you were leaving the cave.
He seems intent on attempting to kill me.
Like this thing, I'm leaving the cave. What does it mean? Like I'm.
Yeah, what is that?
Heading toward. Like I understood that. Like I'm heading toward the exit, right? It's like leaving the cave.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That face I have there right now. That's me realizing when Phil's like, I'm not leaving the cave. Oops. My heart stops right there. That's where my heart stopped right there.
That's funny.
Well, we have to talk about it.
That is a sin. So anyone who's still watching, don't do that. Don't move other characters.
I don't leave the cave actually, and then I'm like, and then I'm saying like, actually, I do kind of want to leave the cave. I just go to the end.
I just don't want to be murdered by that crazy man over there. Just shot me in the back.
It's like a real.
Is that like a GM habits or?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying. It's a good lesson to learn. Anyone who's still watching, as you get really excited about describing what your character is doing, still keep the scope tight to your character. Like I'm trying to flesh out and do my anchoring thing, but you have to limit that scope to just your character, and be very careful that you don't inadvertently start puppeteering other things that are not yours to control, such as NPCs or especially other player characters. But yeah, it's good to know. Don't be like me. There you go.
Well, happens. Just like
the worst thing in this game. It's like the worst. It makes Eli's little metagaming thing seem nothing.
That's but that's also like the point of like when we make those game live and stuff like that, like because we show you like we talk about theory and stuff like that. We talk a big game, right? But we do make mistake. We're not perfect. Like when we're saying like we're not saying like, oh, we're all better than you. We say like that's an ideal we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
But it's in the game. We're live. We're in like when things are moving and stuff like that. Like there's always mistake that's gonna slip in, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't beat yourself up with it.
I think it's cool that we had a lot of feedback from people. We're saying, this is an awesome session, all that stuff. When you look at it, it is a great session. It's a really good fun.
It holds up.
It's really it's unique. It's cool. It's using this cool different roll under system and everything. We hold it all together. But at the same time, yeah. We're not infallible, so it's good that we're able to go ahead and even though we're tearing it apart, with all the little inconsistencies and stuff, nobody really noticed. Like that was kind of like watching from the outside. So, but
Phil
it's
noticed.
Cool.
Phil noticed.
Phil.
I have actually.
Well, you were in the game, Phil, but everybody that was outside, kind of watching it wasn't, they may have noticed a discrepancy, but
Dice Tales. We won't cave no matter where Crispy puts Phil. Touche.
Oh, I didn't notice.
He noticed my bigger mistake, which was I'm going to cheat and have like 5 turns in once. There we go.
I don't know. I think that because the simultaneous turns and then before Max, like. Because you're going before me, I mean, I'm going to be at the entrance of the cave. Like, it's going to happen.
Well,
so,
I know.
Are you wrong? It's like a little bit, are you wrong? Maybe.
Oh, I was wrong, Phil.
Yeah,
you don't have to soften the blow. I was wrong. Everyone knows.
But if our turns are at the same time, then you're right. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm going to be. So,
It felt wrong. That's how I know it was wrong. It felt wrong as soon as I did it.
You definitely moved me.
Yeah, I don't know. Something also we can talk more about, because like what I was trying to go around like whatever everybody does, right? So then we can just resolve everything at the same time, right? But sometimes it didn't work because like before I have a chance of going around, then we go back to somebody else say something, or something I get interrupted and stuff like that.
I think that you could have done it in a way where you just like yell out at me. Like, you don't really need to put me anywhere to yell at me. You know what I mean? If that's what you're going to do. You're like, I yell out at Sisman. And
you could have said, like, just like I take aim. Getting ready for when Sisman leave the cave, finally.
Were you pulling your gun out?
Yeah.
What? I actually don't even know what your action was. I was seething so much. So what was your actual action going to be there?
Who's me?
Yours, yeah.
Well, I was trying to take another shot, but I can't because it's a flintlock. So I'd already shot my shot. So
we had many.
Yeah, that's something. That's something like I know some of you made a violation there, but maybe it's something I should have been more like stress a little more. Those guns, you shoot them once they're used, right?
Yeah.
Just like,
it's like 2
that's
minutes
why, like at
to
some
read.
point, like Enders like fucking give you like hit you with the butt of his gun in the face, right? Just like, because this is
maybe
shot.
Eli shot twice.
Yeah, Eli shot twice, but Eli had a flint musket and a pistol, so he could have switched to the pistol, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he did, but it's not too big a deal, right? The captain a musket and 2 pistol, but he mostly uses sword. I think you only use your sword.
I only use my sword. Yeah.
Yeah, which was your best skill, right? I think Eli had 2 pistol as well? Forgot now. Yeah, but
It makes sense
because
as a first
that was
character.
the idea, right? That was the idea. Like you shoot and then you draw something else, and you. Yeah. Well, thank you, Dicetail. Saying on a serious note, that was a great game, more interesting than most live stream for sure. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it holds up. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna watch
And
it.
I have one more time code if you were. We're going a bit long there. If you takes a
Like
long
safe
time,
distance.
you all.
We've already blown past the hour. We may as well.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna finish by an hour and a half, I guess. Maybe not. This is when you're leaving the cave and you're going down, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like that's the one point that I moved you a bit. And I wanted to have your opinion of how could have done that better, right? I'm gonna play it a bit.
Sort of like in the same vein as a time skip, sort of. I guess
Yeah,
that's what
but
most of the
location
moving
skip.
people is
Yeah.
time skipping. But
Yeah, but
Yes.
the time skipping, I remain in narrator mode mostly. Saying like the night goes quiet, the rain stop, the birds start chirping. Like I was like indicating passage of time without saying like okay, like you're awake or whatever, right? But
We'll see
I
how you
wasn't too good in that part. I'm not too happy with that.
Go behind them.
Takes a
Like
long
safe
time.
distance.
You're all like a bit injured. You have to watch your step. There's this little place that the road have been quite damaged. Please make a dex roll for those carrying the doctor. You see, this is where I meant. Like I said, okay, because you say that we're all heading down, right? And the captain and the lieutenant take the doctor with them, taking the arm and the feet, whatever, and they're working like that, down like that. So okay, they get on the road. At some point, I wanted to go back to this little passage that I like, kind of like planted seed with, where the first priest died, right? I could have done that better without saying like. Maybe I could have just said like, oh, the passage where the first priest died fell is coming inside.
Yeah, you might. What I would probably suggest there is you just describe what comes up ahead. You describe the path being eroded from the passing of water. The tricky part of getting across. But not the way I just did it, but just to convey that's up ahead, and then we could have moved ourselves across there, deciding on how we were going to approach it.
Yeah.
Well, look, sorry. This
agree.
is probably the best scene because you can just see the red on my guitar. It looks so sweet in real life. You know,
That's so weird.
Oh, I see that there. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. The watermark.
it's a weird guitar. It's always black except for when the light hits it. So and then you see the flame. The curly maple underneath it.
Yeah, it's my seal there.
Yeah,
Get
it
my
is.
seal on the guitar.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think turning off, I guess, narrator mode at a dex check is the way to go. I think you're at the hazardous part. How do you approach it? I think that's more. Except, in a good way. Don't say how.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like
I would start with the dex check.
No, I was quite like rewatching that. I say, that was like sloppy as fuck, right?
Well,
it still worked.
I mean, it still worked, and it's 2 hours and 14 minutes in. So by this time, your brain is starting to like really run on empty. All of us are that way, and so it's probably going to be a little sloppier than if it was at the beginning.
I'm wondering, is it going to be 5 minutes till the end of the game? That's where I'm at. I'm like, it's about to end right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was trying to wrap it up and stuff like that, right? And I had like
it's a little bit.
I had kind of like talk about like this passage, like that was difficult when you went up. Oh, this is where the priest fell and stuff like that, right? Or maybe you didn't push. Maybe he was. Who knows? But
He clearly was. I mean, the girl was a witch. I think we established. But I was so happy we were here because I was like, this is the spot.
Yeah.
And I was really glad that Luca failed his dex roll because I was like, oh baby.
Yeah, I felt like I planted a seed there that was good to use at that point, especially because like they were carrying the doctor, like, and I said, okay, now it's gonna be like a little more difficult. Yeah, it could have been like yeah.
Unrelated,
You're right.
but I really messed
not
it up.
for dex check. That was like very 2D of me there.
A little bit too. You're like, you're at the encounter. Roll your die check.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
I messed it up at the end because I was like, I land next to a young priest. I'm like, nah, he's old. Actually, he's the old priest.
Also, like the body wouldn't be there anymore, but whatever.
Yeah.
He was there.
In his ghost form, laughing. Ha ha ha!
And now that
You fool!
Bones were there.
This passage of the road is now like called like a
bones.
dead priest pass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The father
No,
falls.
but yeah. Oh yeah, that's good too. Yeah, so this point, like I rewatching that, like that's the point of my biggest point where I cringed, right?
The dex check.
But there you go.
Well, if that's your biggest point of cringe, then you did a phenomenal job. Like
Yes.
You did do a phenomenal
Yes.
job.
you did. You really did. This was a great session.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy yourself, and I was glad to see that you know, even when you're talking about back in the chat, right, and just like still like doing some teasing and character basically and stuff like that. That was cool, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Did you think that you did better on the rewatch, or were you disappointed when you rewatched?
I think there's a lot of things that I caught on the rewatch that I didn't think was so bad when I was live. Like something I caught live, right? Like you do it and you know right away, like, oh, I fucking screwed up here. But you keep on going, right? You keep plodding ahead. On the rewatch, there's something that I realized. Okay, not only like so, I kind of believe like I did worse on the rewatch. I think the game was fun, was good, right?
Yeah,
I think it was a good game. But I thought that on the first step as well. I knew I made some mistake, and the mistake I knew I made were a mistake on the rewatch as well. But there's also like some other mistake that I made that I didn't catch live, right? So in that sense, I guess I did worse rewatching, but I'll do better because of that in the future.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
That's the whole point.
Cool.
Anything else you guys wanted to add or ask?
I have one thing, but I'll just be really quick. There was an excellent question that was asked by Nick Camargo. I hope I'm saying that right, Camargo. And Dice Tales were talking about it too. Nicholas and Dice Tales were talking about how in a 4D mode would you communicate to a player whose mind's being affected by some kind of magic without just going straight into second person 2D mode. And that's a really good, and just a couple comments before that as well, where you have Dice Tales explaining it too, where he says, how in 4D would you communicate to the players that their mind is being affected by magic without coming out and just saying that? And that's an interesting problem, and that's something maybe we should each think about as something we can talk about and dive into that. How would you, in a 4D game, how do you express to the player that they're going insane or that they're hallucinating without just saying, you're hallucinating, which we're trying to avoid?
Will you just describe what they see, like in narrator mode, because it's real for the character, right? You can just say like, Crispy is a big white rabbit, like humanoid rabbit, like
the walls are crying.
Yeah.
Crispy, the expression on the people around you goes blank. They have no features, no eyes, nose, mouth, just featureless.
And then the player has to.
Then they role play. What?
They role play like, but that's the thing, right?
As long as everyone else understands that if I say to you, Max, I say Max, and then I describe the room spinning a noise in your head, but without saying your head, if I just say Max, a loud buzzing noise, the room
A
shakes.
voice, a disembodied voice, a disembodied voice,
A disembodied voice whispers. You hear children crying, and then
Oh no,
Phil and or not hear, just children crying. The glass of the window shakes, cracks, but then Phil and Rick have to understand that I was a description just for Max. So when they look over at the window's fine, and there's no sound of children crying or thumping on the floor, or bugs crawling up your legs.
I would say I relish those moments as a player to be able to like go crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that if I was a GM, I would talk about it like you would read about it in a book. You'd say magic affects Crispy's mind and makes him begin to see things another way or something like that.
I think maybe
just let Crispy 4D
just let him run.
up.
Yeah, and I suppose that if other players, if we're really paying attention as we should, even in someone else's turn when it's not ours, and the game master calls for a sanity check, like it describes this or whatever, then we understand the description that follows that is the result of the sanity check.
Yeah.
And
but that's something
I think it's important. I think it's important for the player to more express their thoughts in those moments too.
Yes.
But like that's something that could be discussed in the social contract as well, like our session.
How do you handle
like
hallucinations?
Especially if you expect to have like some stuff like insanity or like magical control of the mind, stuff like that. Like, okay, who's gonna describe that, right? Do you want just me tell you? You just like, okay, you did your sanity check and you fail, so now okay, like you handle or you go insane, right? Or do you want me to describe what you see as you see it, as your character see it, knowing that you failed a sanity check, right? I don't know.
So here's an example. Like Rick, the wallpaper on the wall peels back, revealing a gaping hole. But he's hallucinating that. So like Rick he interacts with that however he decides. But then when Phil's turn comes, and Phil, like he decides, oh yeah, I walked to the hole in the wall. The wallpaper is peeling on the corners. The wall is otherwise unaffected. Like you'd have to be prepared to. Everyone would have to understand, if I say your name and I give you a description, that's what you see. But I'm not saying you see. I'm just describing the world around. Yeah.
What do you say to the guy following through the imaginary door?
That's what, like, that's the scenario, right? So Rick gets the explanation that in his mind, that wall has got a huge door in it, a gaping maw towards hell. Yeah. But Phil doesn't see that.
Then you open the door, and then it's Rick's turn again. You just describe what you see in his mind. Like, for the other character, Phil, you just see Rick is standing. Would that be right then to take control? Rick is just standing in front of the wall, drooling. Yeah. Rick is just standing in front of the wall, the nose to the
You'd have
wall.
To describe that to
Rick,
Phil's character.
Yeah,
right?
You'd have to describe me trying to touch the wall and go through it, and then, or something like that. Well, what Sean's saying, maybe it should be something that we do a video on to explain. Yeah.
It's an interesting question, and it's one that I think would require some experimentation. See what works best.
Interesting topic to talk about at some point. I wanted to, because Shauna was saying the buzzing sound earlier, it made me think, like, what do you think of your ears are ringing, right? Is that a second person?
Why are they ringing? Just randomly, or because of illusion magic shit?
No, let's say like you shot a gun in a small room, right?
It's up to the player.
And then your ears are ringing.
I would say I know what I used to do, but rather than do that, I would say a deafening crack of a gunshot
It's good.
ripping through the
Another
air.
player.
Then it's up to
Okay.
you to say my ears are ringing, like, or
Yeah.
instead of me just saying your ears are ringing, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that's a good way to do it.
straying a little too much
because
into
in
that second
the
pick.
character had a phone on him, and you can say that your phone is ringing, and then that's no problem because that the phone is not the character, right?
Mhm.
And if you have an NPC there, it'd be like, oh, my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's something also like I should have done more in the cave. You
Yeah.
fucking shooting gun in the cave should have been more like more trauma from that
Mhm.
deafening sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have played more with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope to see you tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
where we're gonna
Yeah,
well, if you
Phil's
can
got a
get make it,
exam.
right?
Phil's
I
got
gotta
nothing but
study.
exams. It's
You gotta
crazy.
study.
It's they all put them in a clump. I don't know why they do that.
End of the semester. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, it's like 3
Oh,
times in a semester. You're taking
Ugh,
all the exams
Almost mid,
together.
yeah,
a long
midterm.
time.
It's like,
Midterm, yeah.
it's like first third.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's mostly a lot of college classes have 3 exams.
Hmm.
And when they all have 3 exams, they put
Yeah.
them all at the same time.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
how it goes.
It's part of the
Well,
social
good luck with
contract.
Thanks.
Good luck with that.
Part of the
If
social
you can
contract.
join, like I understand that. Like if I don't talk to
I'll try
you,
Depends how generous my wife is with the
Well, we should probably
Oh, yeah.
call it here then.
child care.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you all guys for joining me on this tweaker and going through that. I'm sorry if I went a little long. You know I
Yeah,
am.
it's just not. I'm already coming down from the, meth.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
And thank you for people that watch live. Thank you for people that are gonna watch on the replay and watch all the way to the end. And join us tomorrow for Tear Your Skin Off. We're gonna
Mhm.
talk about tempo of play and initiative and the round robin and taking turns, stuff like that. Which we touch a bit on tonight, but we'll go deeper tomorrow. Thank you guys, and I'm gonna end the
Monday.
stream now. And Monday, Monday.
Feast of
yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, we're gonna play Feast of Legend.
The Wendy's role
game.
playing game. If you want some classic fantasy plus
Yep.
food, check it out. The most
make sure
4D
to have a
game,
meal
maybe.
before the-
We'll see.
Yeah, don't watch on an empty stomach.
No.
That's right.
All right, take care, guys. I'm ending the stream now. Bye. Have a good night.